Everybody, hey, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. I've got for my Shades of Bravo episode on Thursday. You guys won't believe it. It happened. It actually happened. I've got Margaret Josephs here.
Oh my God. Yay. I'm here with Mary Payne. Finally, I adore you. So I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, tell me, I've got a whole list of questions about your house. So
Okay.
what room are you in your house right now? I'm obsessed.
I call it my ballroom because that's what it originally was. It's my living room and it's my favorite room in the house. It's why we bought the house. It's a huge, huge room. That's like multi-purpose. It's like I entertain in here. It's really, we have a bar, we have we watch TV in here. I have a piano, I have a pool table, and it's really like a big entertaining room. But we dance in here when I have a party. It's my favorite room in the house.
It is great. I have a million questions about your house, but I've got to go in order of my questions because I've been so excited to talk to you that
Thank you.
I really got it in my mind. Okay, all right, I gotta do this. I gotta get all the information out of Margaret. So, all right, I want to start from the beginning with you, literally. So your mom, Marge Senior, which is still the funniest thing ever, Marge Senior.
It's a very Hungarian thing to do, to name your your female child after the mother.
But is it common to be like Marge Senior?
No, no. Everybody just nicknamed her Marge Senior because they were like, how are we going to differentiate the two? So growing up, they just started calling her Marge Senior, Margaret Senior. So yeah.
That's so funny to me. So, okay. So she grew up in Hungary.
Yes.
And when did she come here and where did you grow up? And tell me about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, we discussed a little bit on the show, but she immigrated here when she was 10 years old. There was the war going on in 56, communism, Russia and Hungary. So they opened the borders into Austria. She, fled on her bicycle with her parents.
Wow.
To Austria with nothing but the clothes on her back, which was crazy. And then she was in Austria just a little bit. And then they were the first plane out on Christmas Eve into the States to come to America because America had opened up, let little refugees in, which that's what she was. So she was about 10 and a half when she got here. It's a very, American dream story. Come here, make your way. And that's what it was. And for a little while, my grandfather's brother was in Iowa. They lived there for a little while, a few months. My grandmother was miserable. A lot of Hungarians lived in New Jersey, believe it or not, Perth Amboy, New Jersey, tons of Hungarians. And they moved, they got a house in New Jersey next door to my grandmother's best friend from Hungary, which is very funny. And it was a big block of Hungarians and that's what happened.
Okay, so you were always in New Jersey.
Always. I grew up in Mahopac, New York. I moved when I was 11, but yeah, I was in New Jersey. I was born in New Jersey at Elizabeth Hospital. We lived in Edison for a while. Then we moved to Perth Amboy, which, now isn't considered that desirable. But at the time, we lived on the water, a lot of very Hungarian. And I went to Hungarian Girl Scouts. I went to Our Lady of Hungary school. I didn't speak English till basically I went to kindergarten.
Wow.
Yeah. So I still speak Hungarian, but I lost a lot of it, a lot.
The couple that owns the hair salon where I go, like hair, eyebrows, I was like, if you guys did like dental care here, I would go nowhere else. Like that, I go there for everything. It's called the Sugar House. It's here in Virginia, and they're Hungarian.
Yes, I know. Hungarians, are great. The place that I go to get my nails done is Hungarian as well now. And they're very into the beauty treatments.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's Erica and Nando, and they're just incredible people.
I love
it. And she's very blonde, as well.
We like our blonde. Us, Jaja, my mother, Erica.
That's right. That's right. So explain to me the family dynamic, because we heard about your son and, unfortunately for him, not in a great way. So explain.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. So you were married to Jan for a long time.
Yes.
Now is your son is with Jan?
Yes. My son is with Jan. He's 28.
Okay.
3 stepkids with Jan, 49, 47, and 42. They're much older. So people are like, oh, your kids hate you. No, they're grown adults.
Right.
So, my 49-year-old's finally getting married. I'm 57. He's 49. But I was with Jan since I was 24 years old.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And, we got married in 1994. We didn't get divorced till like 2013. So
Yeah. That.
I was married a long time. I did move out in 2011, but I mean, I was with Jan since 1991. I
Yeah. That's
lived
a
with
long
him.
time.
We were together a very, very long time. Um,
Yeah.
so with that being said, so my kids are, very close to my age, though I did raise them, their mother, biological mother lived away. She did not see them very often.
Mm,
We had full custody, and
mm.
we were, as far as I'm concerned, they're, they are my children. That's
Of
what it is.
course.
When I first got on the show, I was very honest. I was like, we were disconnected for a while. They were very heartbroken about the divorce, understandably so. It was sad, but because we were an amazing family and not the best couple. And they were much older, they were in their 30s. My son at the time was 15. He was
Mm.
actually the most fine with it. He understood. And Jan and I had lived just a few blocks from each other when we got divorced. So my son, it was very easy for him to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the family dynamic. But we're all, thank God my sons and I are all extremely close. Thank God. And I'm still disconnected from my my daughter, but that's very unfortunate, but there's issues there. I can't change that. I can't change any of that. It's sad, but it is what it is. But my boys, so the three boys and I are amazing. Joe has two children who are
Okay.
unbelievable. He has a son and a daughter who we're also extremely close with. We're a very close family. We talk to the kids every single day. There's not a day that goes by that everybody's not talking to the kids. We just keep them
Wow.
extremely private.
Yeah. I didn't even know Joe had kids.
Yeah, Joe has two kids. His daughter is an astrophysicist.
Whoa.
Yeah, and his son was a captain in the Army, and his son is now going for his PhD in physics.
Is
And
Joe interested in physics? Like, where does that come from?
Joe
Wow.
I think, Joe is very smart. I think he's a very humble human, and he can fix anything. He can do anything. He is very mechanically inclined, and he's
Mhm.
brilliant children.
Wow.
And I'm not taking anything away from his ex-wife. Truthfully, his ex-wife and I get along great now. She's
Mhm.
a lovely, lovely woman. Just certain things are not meant to be shared with the world.
Yeah, I get it. So between you have 6 kids.
Yeah, between us, we have 6 kids.
Wow.
And it's everybody, but they're adults. They're grown adults.
Yeah.
My biological son is obviously around the most because he's the youngest, and he's my entire life.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Wow. Okay. So speaking of Joe, can you give us an update on how he's
Yes.
doing with his health?
Yes, that's very important. The show didn't cover it, and I feel like the end result of it. And I feel like I have to go do your show and discuss it, and then I'm going to have to do a whole after this comes out a whole Insta story about it, because he was diagnosed with first stage prostate cancer
Okay.
when they did his biopsy, but it's so early. The way they treat it now is it's called active surveillance. They don't treat it, no treatment whatsoever, just watching it, because they do another test called a genomic test, which is amazing. And that determines how quickly the cancer will grow, change, or anything. And his is 97% slow growing. So his might not change for 10 years.
Mm.
So there's no point in treating it, because the treatment is much more aggressive and damaging than not doing anything.
Okay.
So they're just monitoring him. He just had his other tests again. He just had blood work. He just had his MRI again. But I also wanted to say, anybody who's listening, the first test is the PSA test, which is the prostate antigen test, or which they check for. And they always say anything over a 4 or 4.2, depending how old you are. Well, the truth is Joe's PSA test wasn't abnormally high, but it did change drastically.
Okay. All right.
Here. So even if it just changes and it's still in the normal range, but there's a drastic change, that's a signal that something's wrong.
Oh, this is really like a PSA,
Yeah,
for
a PSA for
yeah.
a public service for your PSA test.
Because women, we're so encouraged to do our mammograms and do our yearly gyno visits and stuff to kind of keep on top of things. But with men, you don't hear about this as much. I always say to my husband, like, when you went to the doctor, did he give you like a full physical? He's like, no, I just got my heart medicine refilled or whatever. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to do that? Aren't you supposed to get
Yeah, there's
everything checked?
exactly. You are supposed to get checked your PSA test, and I mean that's the blood test. I mean, it's not the most pleasant, it is up the tush,
Mm.
a quick little check. I mean, Joe didn't have one symptom of anything at all. It's not like he was getting up in the middle of the night to pee a lot. He didn't have an enlarged prostate. He didn't have any issues whatsoever. It was just that PSA number changed, and it was still in the normal range.
Mm. Okay, well, that's really interesting. My sister had a stage like between 0 and 1 breast cancer, and she was treated with radiation, no chemo, and like a lumpectomy. But it's interesting, like with men, they do something different. They're just going to like watch it, watch it, watch it,
Yes.
and if it changes a little bit, then they'll decide it because,
Then
like you
they'll
said, it
decide
could.
what to do. I think prostate cancer, because it's highly curable, and breast cancer is usually much more aggressive.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
prostate cancer is highly curable. It normally, unless it's a super aggressive, doesn't go outside the prostate. Um, yeah, I think prostate cancer is something a 90 something percent cure rate, a very high cure rate. You usually don't die from prostate cancer, you usually die with prostate cancer. When they
Mm.
check men who are in their 90s, chances are who have passed away, usually they've had prostate cancer and didn't know it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very,
Wow.
very interesting.
Okay, well, this has been like,
Yes, yes. I learned a lot
yeah.
about it because I am a neurotic wreck.
Yeah, well, I really felt that on the show when you were like so much more upset than he was.
Yes.
I really felt that because that's how it goes in this house too. And my mom is the same. My mom will always say like, "Well, if I don't worry about it, who's going to worry about it?" Like
Yes,
I'm like,
it's true.
yeah, yeah.
And Joe never, worries about anything. He's very like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm like, okay. I'm going to just say that, the loss of my ex-husband also, I think what scared me so much was he was extremely healthy, ran 5 miles a day, watched his diet, uh, took his medicine, just was in perfect shape and health, and, died very suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah, so that has
So
affected
I think
your,
that,
yeah.
it was very much a wake up call, just you can't take anything for granted.
Mm. Y'all, we all dread the whole what should we have for dinner question. I swear on my life, it starts in this house around the time we're eating lunch. People start asking, what are we having for dinner? It drives me crazy. Inevitably, sometimes we order takeout and it's easier sometimes, but my gosh, it's never satisfying. And I'm always like, I feel so gross. Why do we keep ordering takeout? So, this is why I'm loving Home Chef. It makes it really easy to cook at home and the food is tons better. You feel better about it. And by the by, it saves you money. I love meal kits. Being able to feast on a delicious meal without the long prep and cook times is what drew me to Home Chef in the first place over the other guys as well. Home Chef meals are effortless, even for somebody like me who is not like the world's greatest cook, but I can follow a card with a recipe like nobody's business. Home Chef provides those fresh ingredients and chef designed recipes conveniently delivered right to your door. When you open your door and you see it there, you pop it in your fridge or freezer, you're like, okay, my week is done. I don't have to have this fight with my family 3 times a week about what is for dinner. They have the classic meal kits, which is what I like. That has the pre-portioned ingredients, the easy instructions. That's what I like. Then they also have some speedy recipes that can be ready in 30 minutes. They have oven ready kits already, and they have microwave meals. So whatever you're looking for, they have it. I like the classic meal prep because I like to do it myself because I might like to add a little of this, take a little less of that. Sometimes they send me mushrooms. I don't like that. You may like extra mushrooms. Whatever is your thing, Home Chef is there for you. They have over 30 options a week that serve a variety of dietary needs. So you don't have to worry about like what to make ahead of time. And this person likes this, and maybe the friend's coming over that's a vegetarian or whatever. Ooh, that sounded pretty specific. Not only is it convenient, but it's economical too. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 a month on groceries. That's an entire trip to the grocery store, guys, or like 2 fill-ups of your car. They have a delicious kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options each week for your kids or your adult kids who only like to eat kid food. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life and of course free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/pinkshade. That's homechef.com/pinkshade for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard me right. homechef.com/pinkshade, but you must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Do it and tell me what you ordered. Y'all, I don't know how it is at your house, but at my house, every week there's a never ending list of projects to get done. And we're always like, yep, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Oh my gosh, next week we're going to get that screen fixed on Anna's window, but we never get around to it. We are too busy. So, we're coming up on the weekend and I'm like, hey, I got to fix this screen. Oh my gosh, somebody need to pressure wash the house. I got to build this dresser. I got to clean out the garage. And none of that sounds great on the weekends, especially when I've got so much trash TV I need to be watching. So for all the tasks you need to do but don't want to do, there's TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit connects you with skilled taskers to help with cleaning, moving, furniture assembly, home repairs, and more. And many taskers are available to help the same day. Okay, I went on taskrabbit.com and I booked a tasker to come to my house and clean my gutters. And guess what? While he was here, I was like, you know what? Can you fix Anna's screen that is hanging off the front of the house? And he did. It was so easy, guys. I'm not kidding. You just go, you click the thing, you type in your zip code, you type in what you're looking for, and boom, a bunch of people pop up. And yes, some of them were available either that afternoon or the next day. I booked somebody with 2 days notice and the guy was here. It was so easy. And guess what? My husband didn't have to clean the gutters because we're not the handiest people in this house. So to get started, you can go to taskrabbit.com or just get the app. The app is really great too. Search the best tasker for your job based on cost, skill set, availability, and past client reviews. I looked at those past client reviews and I was like, I'm not going to take anybody under a 4.5, but there was hardly anybody on there that was that low. So it actually was kind of hard because everybody looked great. Now you're going to schedule your tasker early as the same day sometimes. And once the tasker has completed the job, simply pay, tip, and review. I did that all. It was all on the app. Taskers have assembled over 3.4 million pieces of furniture. Oh my gosh, I could have used that when I was moving John into the dorm. They have done 700,000 home repairs and completed 1.5 million moves and more. Gosh. Plus, with TaskRabbit's happiness pledge, if you're not satisfied, they will work to make it right. Tackle your to-do list today and get 15% off your first task at taskrabbit.com or on the TaskRabbit app using the promo code PINKSHADE. That's promo code PINKSHADE at TaskRabbit, TaskRabbit, taskrabbit.com for 15% off of your task. TaskRabbit, book trusted help for home tasks. Well, okay, so back to you. I want to talk about your fashion and how you started the Macbeth collection. Now, so I went because I was looking at your house because I'm obsessed. So I went to look at that, and that led me to like MargaretJosephs.com, and then that led me to the Macbeth collection. So you went to FIT?
Yes, I went to FIT. I graduated with a 4-year degree. I immediately went into the garment center. I was a dress designer per se, but we worked for a knockoff house in 1400 Broadway. It was called Torino Juniors.
Yeah.
I was like somebody else's Lexi, who I mentored under this wonderful woman, Vicky Ferrara, who I'm still extremely close with. And, I really, we designed, but we also, did fast fashion, meaning like, we'd look at the high end and interpret it for the everyday person.
Sure. I love that.
Which was great. And, business was very different then. That's how I met my first husband. But I always loved fashion. I always loved style. I always loved mixing high and low. And then after I had my son, I was like, I don't want to go back into the garment center. I want to start something else. But I always loved print. I always loved color. I always loved point of view. And I was like, what could I do for the home? And I said, there's no stylish storage solutions. So I started with a friend at the time, decoupaging buckets. With vintage wallpaper and doing all things like that. And I took it to a local store in town and it sold out in one day. And they were like, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
So I had put my name on the gift show list in New York at the Javits. And within a few months, they were like, oh, you got in. There was a new category. And I think the first show, I can't remember, it was something crazy. We sold like, close to $100,000 worth of orders or 50,000. I can't remember, 50 to 100,000. And I was like, holy shit, what are we going to do?
Yeah. How are you going to fill it?
how we
Yeah.
could kill it. We had the housekeepers working for us. My girlfriend and I are our housekeepers. We had people, everybody wanted. There was quite a little buzz. And, I used to buy the buckets at Home Depot. I had to figure out how to get the pieces, from a manufacturer. First it was from in Texas. And then I looked at the label and they got it from India. So then I had to figure out how to get them from India.
Yeah.
I figured out how to make the business and it just grew from there. And after that, Mary, we grew a very large business. We were on the O list 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
We were selling Neiman Marcus. We were selling, sex. We everything was monogrammed. It was very, I felt for our area, we were a very Southern socialite type of look,
Yeah.
something that was perfect with your wallpaper, like your style.
Yeah.
And it was just a very different time. And I felt like we were ahead of the curve. So a lot of the larger retailers would come to us and say, you know what, we love your look. What else could we do it on? And I couldn't afford to sell them, like the Bed Bath & Beyonds, like the TJ Maxx's, people like that. And truthfully, the money is in the volume. And they said, you should license. And I was like, I was snotty. I was like, I want to do the high end. But meanwhile, we were doing very well, but the money really is in the mass. And a licensing agent came and he said, hey, you could get paid on royalty, just like be the design director and work with these other companies. And I said, okay, let's give it a try. And we did. And it really had panned out and worked out for us. And we got into licensing.
So your stuff, well, first of all, how'd you come up with the name Macbeth Collection?
Oh, see, that was when I started with my girlfriend. It was Margaret and Beth. Now Beth went by the wayside very early on.
Okay, got it.
And I never changed it.
It never changed. Well, I mean, why? But so now if you want to buy anything through Macbeth the Collection, you could get it literally like at Target, at Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have a little sister brand called Candy Couture that's in Walmart, my makeup brushes.
Okay.
And things like my whole beauty accessory tool line is in Walmart for a long time, Candy Couture.
How do you feel about Bougie Kids with a Z?
Bougie Kids. I think, listen, Danielle I give her a ton of credit. She works very hard. She wants to build a brand. I give her a lot of credit. And I've given her some advice. I think, she's really trying to work it out and make it work. And I think it's a good idea. I told her, she can't be having people locally make it. She has to make it overseas. But, she's doing a good job and she's figuring it out.
Yeah. I was wondering if you had sort of mentored her a little bit since you started your business from scratch.
Yeah. We've spoken. She's come to the house and, I think she would love to go the same route. I think eventually she would love to get into licensing. And I said, yeah, you just have to get some brand recognition and really work it out.
So, okay. So speaking of design, so your home remodel that I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
Now, how long did it take from when you bought the house to when you had the vision? Because we've seen many seasons of you following around Joe. When's the bathroom going to be done? Was the dining room going to be done?
Oh my God, Mary Payne. This is the bane of my existence. And people are like, oh, you don't fix it. You don't do this. Listen, this house is from 1906. It's very easy to do new construction.
Yeah.
To do a restoration is a different story. And I think people don't understand that. I've lived here right when I got on the show. I've lived here 8 years.
Yeah.
Right when I got on the show, I literally moved in like 6 to 7 weeks before that.
Okay.
And we were just ripping down old wallpaper. The house, 90-year-old people lived here when I got this house. And they had lived here for 50 years. I was getting the stench of mothballs out. We didn't know what was behind the walls. Yeah. I saw this house. Joe was away on business and I said, I have to have this house based on this ballroom, based on the layout that, it's so much glass on a Tudor, which you don't get. There was something about it. It had a soul. And I can appreciate new construction, but I love an old home.
Yeah.
I do. There's something about it. There's a character that you don't get with other things. The staircase I fell in love with. It was magnificent. There's just unique things that you get when you get an old home that you can't get new. It's just not for me. It's also environmentally, it's better to have, it's just, I have a weird about it. Now, as my husband, he's like, I want to, kill you, but he did it for me. And I'm sure he regrets every day of it. Here 8 years, but just to do everything, Every time we'd open a wall, there would be a crisis. There would be, we don't know where the pipes are going. He'd have to redo the plumbing. To do the kitchen, which you saw we did a few years ago, we had a chimney, a big chimney in the kitchen that went up 3 stories.
Wow.
So that was such, through the floor, 3 stories, through bedrooms, through the bathroom. So to take that apart, we had to have thank God his cousin's an engineer come in to make sure that the house wouldn't collapse. It was just, so this house it's taken a long time. I mean, I've lived here 8 years, and I lived in it probably 2 years till I even really did a lot to it, because I wanted to live here. My taste is, I thought what would look good, what would work. I love wallpaper. I could see that you love wallpaper.
I love wallpaper too.
I feel like I'm high Hollywood meets rock and roll, meets vintage rock and roll though.
Yeah.
I always say I want my house to feel like a boutique-y hotel.
Yeah.
Vintage hotel. And I wanted to respect the house also. I feel like it does have a soul. Even just doing the backyard, I want to feel like it was always here. The backyard would have to match the house, the architect.
Yeah, of course.
A great landscape architect. So it's taken a long time, 8 years. And listen, I have a 3rd floor. I'm really not even totally done with my bedroom. We just did the closet. I love, love, love my closet, but the carpeting's not in my closet yet. I always say, who's sleeping on level 3 when I have guests? And, level 3 is not done yet. Still have bathrooms, but I enjoy doing it. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, why is everything not done? But I don't mind taking my time. The world minds that I take my time, but I don't mind it.
I think that when it is finally done, I hope you do like a whole TV show, like an HGTV, and show us everything.
I will. A lot of very big people who I respect tremendously in the industry have reached out to us, which makes me very happy, because people that I respect in the industry that have streaming and things like that have reached out to have the house on it. So they appreciate it, which makes me thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at your pendants behind you, because I need new pendants in my kitchen, and I've been going back and forth with my designer. And every time I go to someone's house, I take a picture of what's over their breakfast table or over their island, because that's where it is, over the breakfast table. And she's like, okay, well, I got what you want, but like, quit sending me pictures. So that's
yes.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's over my pool table. And that big mirror, if you could see, I got.
I love it.
In an estate sale. I still love to go to estate sale. Yeah. I love to pick up vintage pieces. I'll post. I just had dining room chairs reupholstered. And listen, I wanted these expensive dining room chairs, but you can never get a great color. You can't get anything. I wanted these swivel chairs that were magnificent. You know what I did? I went on Wayfair. I found the shape was stunning. Mm-hmm. They were swivel. They were magnificent. They looked like an expensive shape, but the fabric was shitty. They were horrible fabric. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get these chairs. The quality was good. I got them. And then I bought super expensive fabric and sent them to the upholsterer.
Yeah, great.
I had them reupholster. So the truth is, because great chairs that I wanted, custom, there's still a custom chair. The base and the structure was great, but the fabric was gross, and you couldn't get anything good. And then I had them reupholstered. I had beautiful piping done. They're in a gorgeous pink linen with a gorgeous ink bottle green piping for the dining room.
I love that.
But I was like, how am I going to get the chair that I want? And I had to have them made, but I was like, I'm not spending a fortune for the base, because I was like, I'm getting them on Wayfair. So I think that's like a good little tip.
Yeah. Also, because you can have the fabric that you want, but the base doesn't matter as long as it's
And I couldn't find a base that, a kind of swivel. And it was so crazy. It was a great swivel dining chair that was fabulous.
Okay. Well, you have to send me a picture of that later.
I will.
I'll send like something I want.
I'm going to send it to you right when we hang up.
Gosh. Okay. So we're 8 years in. We're 8 years into the remodel and still going. 3rd floor. Are there any ghosts in your house? Because it sounds like there could be ghosts.
I never feel like there's ghosts, but I do feel like, I don't know, there's something in this house. There's something, I don't know. There's something that draws me to this home, that this home was meant to have me. Mm-hmm. Everybody, it was on the market for a long time. Mm-hmm. I had to buy this house. It called me. It was very, very funny. Because a friend of mine moved onto this block a year and a half before me. She had built a house around the corner. And I said to my friend who was a realtor, I said, Kim, I got to move on. I said, I have to move to that block. How come there's nothing for me? And she goes, oh, it's such as, you know, a lot of people don't live on that block. Houses never come for sale. And then this house came for sale. But it's the house that I always imagined. I wanted something that was courtyardish around a pool. I don't know. It was something about this house I was meant to have.
I love that.
It does. You know, I'm very attached to it.
I
And
love that.
home I've been really attached to that I've ever lived in. Joe and I had a beautiful home before this that actually had like 10 bedrooms that, you know, that was magnificent, that had a pool, that was done. And he's the one who convinced me not to stay there. I wasn't attached to that house.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this one, it seems like from every single nut and bolt and floor and everything, it's got your stamp on it. So
yes,
that's why it's so special.
Like, you know, my kids will, you know, eventually have this house. You know, it's a house that should stay in a family.
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure. For sure. We have our kids' little handprints in the concrete because we did build this house from the ground up, and we saw our little, you know, and now they're 21 and 18,
exactly.
so 21 and 19. So my husband's like, if we ever move, what are we going to do? Like, we literally can't move because of the handprints.
You can't. Like those, you know what I'm saying? That's a house that stays in a family. And I feel like this is, you know, just when I come home, I'm so happy. Like that's my happiest when I'm home.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. So, all right, now we have to chat about Bravo a little bit. So let's talk about what's going on with the OC. Are you caught up on the OC?
I'm not totally caught, but I have the current vibe. I know what's going on. There's a lot of Tamara Shannon upset, which, you know, it's a very hard, complicated relationship. And I feel really sad about it. I feel very sad.
My husband is an alcoholic in recovery. So I feel pretty strongly about the way Tamara is treating Shannon.
Tell me.
It's not going to help to yell at her in front of a group of people in production, knowing it's going to be on TV. It won't help to yell at her privately. It won't help to have a conversation with her privately or on TV. Shannon has to change if Shannon wants to change. It doesn't have anything to do with Tamara yelling at her.
No, I agree. Considering I don't drink, we know that I don't drink. I don't have an issue myself. I'm not in recovery. I never had a drinking issue, but you know, Mark Sr. used to cocktail a little too much when I was younger. But how should she handle it? I think Tamara probably felt like she was enabling her. I think she was probably frustrated. Maybe she's not taking out the frustration the right way. I think, you know, I understand exactly what you're saying. Should she just act like it's not happening? I think that's what it is. Tamara probably doesn't feel like, I agree with you. Public shaming isn't healthy for anybody, right? It's not good for anybody. And I think love and care is helpful, but you can't pretend and enable. And I think that's what it is with Tamara. I think she probably feels like, am I being gaslit? Why is everybody acting like nothing happened?
Right. Yeah. Okay. That I can see.
And I think that's what it is with Tamara. Tamara's like, what's going on here? Why are we? So I think Tamara's delivery is not good, but the intention behind it, I understand. But I also feel like Shannon is a good person, and I happen to love her very much as well. You know what I mean? And I know her. I know them both personally, and I know Shannon. How publicly humiliating is that? It's bad enough. You are beating yourself up enough if something like that happens. To have that displayed all over the place is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And then to have that breakup happen, and then to have to be with your boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole thing for Shannon is horrible and painful to live it publicly. But and because they have such a history, there wouldn't be so much emotion about it if they didn't both love each other. And that's why I think it's so hard, because they do have such a history.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with all that. I think that I think it's a little bit of a pile on. And I do think Tamara is correct. She's saying to Vicky, you're enabling her. And in a way, Vicky is, but also I think Vicky has just decided, this is my friend, I'm going to support her. And Tamara has decided, she's done. And I think that if she's just like done with the friendship, she can't take the late night phone calls. She can't take all this complaining. She doesn't want to be associated with somebody who ran their car into a house, all these things. That's Tamara's choice. And she can definitely draw a boundary with the friendship.
Yes.
But all of this, she's making a lot of snarky comments like, oh, Shannon was like, oh, I called you last night. She was like, oh, is that before or after you had a drink? You know, it's a lot of that. It's just sort of like, okay, we get it. Like, and it's really turned sort of the audience, and I'm just looking at it from my own personal experience.
No. Listen,
it's turned the audience on her a lot.
I know it has. And you know what? And I feel bad because I know Tamara personally, and she's not mean. And she's, I've been with her in social situations, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's not like that. And I don't know if it was for TV or to make good, TV, to make a comment. And I do feel bad because that's not nice. You know what? Listen, people gave me lip because when Jennifer Aiden was falling down drunk, I wasn't even mean to her. Yes, I called her a sloppy drunk. That was
she is a sloppy drunk.
That was the worst thing I said. You know what I mean? And people were in uproar. I was like, "You're in an uproar about that?" I was like, "That's ridiculous." Because
she's laying on the concrete at somebody's pool party. That's a sloppy drunk.
And I actually was very concerned for her.
Yeah.
The only one. Listen, it's hard to watch the demise of a friendship. It's hard to watch. I think it's very hard to watch people, the topic of alcohol, the drinking. Something did happen publicly. It's very, very upsetting. We've watched it before. And it's hard to watch.
I agree.
Both sides. I feel bad for Shannon. I feel bad for Tamara. I feel bad for everybody because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And at the end of this last episode, we saw there was a little bit of resolution between them. So I'm hoping it goes that way, but I feel like it's probably not.
You know, I wanted to because they do have a history, and life is short, and I know Tamara wants the best for Shannon. I know she does.
Yeah. Well, Shannon looks great. I mean,
looks amazing.
She looks incredible. I will tell you too, on this last episode that you'll see, they're having this whole conversation with Alexis, who's just like, I have the receipts of these money transfers and doing all this and about the facelift. And the funniest thing is you see Heather and Emily, and they are having this side conversation that the mics are picking up, which is like, well, I didn't even know she had a facelift. She looks great. She should go to rehab. She should, but she looks amazing. That's what I love about the Housewives is these side conversations that you really would be having with your friends. Like, she probably does need to go out of rehab, but wow, she looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that Alexis would say, I have a video that would ruin her life. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all.
I don't either, because it makes you wonder, oh my God, then you start spiraling. What was it? Was it racist? Did she physically attack him? You start thinking of the worst things.
Why do you want to ruin this woman's life? Why?
What does it do for you, Alexis?
Like, what benefit? Why do you want to hurt her so badly? What did she fucking do to you?
Right. I agree.
What did she ever do to, why do you want to ruin her life? For what?
It makes no sense. Just because she dated a guy that you're now dating, who cares?
You know what I'm saying? There's just no reason.
You won the prize of Johnny J. Just move on.
Why would you want to ruin anybody's life?
Yeah. Okay, well, great. Well, that leads us right into Real Housewives of New Jersey. We've got some people on there that are doing the same thing. So I heard you on Heather's podcast explaining about the call that your son got at his office. Now, your son's a private person. We don't know who he is. Yes. You've said from the beginning, my kids are private. They don't want to be on the show. That's fine.
Yes.
So you told Heather that because we were sort of led to believe at that last reunion that your son just got like this phone call and we're like, big deal. But what you explained to Heather was it was actually it was threatening.
Yeah, I didn't go into the details of it. Yeah, it was a threatening phone call. It was a conversation. It wasn't just like, a hang up. Who cares about a hang up, a prank call?
A prank call, yeah.
Who cares? It was a threatening conversation phone call.
So much so that the police were involved.
Yes, so much so that the police were involved. Everyone's like, well, produce the police report. I don't have to satisfy the public.
No.
I don't care what the public says. I don't.
Hey, y'all. This episode is proudly brought to you by Lola V, an award-winning hair care line founded by the ever fabulous, ever iconic Jennifer Aniston. You guys, our hair goes through the ringer, especially in the summer. We've got coloring, we've got heat styling, we've got stress and aging. And now it's the summer, you've got the sun. And I was in the pool today. I was like, this chlorine can't be good for my hair. But sometimes you're hot, man. You got to get in that pool. So Jennifer Aniston got tired of looking for products that really, really worked versus some that are good for us. So Jennifer Aniston decided to create what she was looking for because she is an icon. So Lola V is going to be your ultimate summer hair saver. It is created with the finest natural clinical ingredients. It ensures your hair will feel luxurious and carefree as a summer breeze. Say goodbye to your sun-damaged tangled hair and hello to shine, strength, and elegance. Summer is the season of confidence, and Lola V embodies this spirit. And a treat for you, your amazing Pink Shade listeners, for a limited time, you're going to get an exclusive 15% off your entire order at lolav.com. You're going to use code PINKSHADE at checkout. I mean, if you're taking hair care advice, you should listen to only Jennifer Aniston. That's it. She gave us the Rachel. We all had it. We all loved it. So I have been using their restorative shampoo and their restorative conditioner. I am loving them. Also, y'all, the packaging is so neat and nice, black and white. I love it, super clean. And I've also been using this Perfecting Leave-In conditioner. I love a Perfecting Leave-In conditioner because it helps you like fight that frizz. And when you're styling with the blow dryer or the curling iron, I'm always trying to curl my hair. I'm trying to curl up what I got. It's not always working, but there's so much heat damage that goes on there. So this leave-in conditioner has really, really been helping me out. So harness the power of summer shine with the glossing detangler. That's another one that I've tried and my daughter tried because her hair is really thick. It detangles, it primes, it enhances shine, improves the manageability, and protects your hair from damage, making it the must-have addition to your routine this summer. Ooh, and they also sent this styling paste, and my husband was using that. We've all been using it, y'all. So check out all of Lola V products at your local Ulta Beauty location to experience the luxurious scent for yourself, or head directly to their website at lolav.com. That's LOLAVIE.com. As the loyal listeners of Pink Shade, you're going to get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code Pink Shade. That's 15% off your order at LOLAVIE.com with promo code Pink Shade. Now, please note you can only use one promo code per order and discounts cannot be combined. After you purchase, they'll say, hey, where did you hear about us? And support this show and say Pink Shade sent you. So knowing all of that and knowing all of that when happened in the background, that's, in your family, how hard was it for you to film with Louis? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, did you ever film with Louis at all?
I didn't film with him.
You never were in the room with him?
No. We were at an outside event and we were very far apart. And that was it. Once. An outside event at Danielle and Nate's brain party. And that was it. And no, but they knew I was not interested being anywhere near someone.
Okay.
And okay. Clearly it makes sense that I wouldn't. And someone who would then, double down. And then why would you even mention my son or my family again, saying you wish suffering upon us? Why would you even bring him up?
It's really gross. And I feel that a lot of people are just flat out afraid of him. So
I agree.
And okay. So it also seemed we saw, on the reunion, and Dolores has spoken to this a little, that it appeared on the reunion that there was an issue that she had with Louis, with her son working for him briefly. But at the reunion, she just cut off the conversation and said, we're not going to talk about it. We appreciate the job. That's it. And you see Frank Sr. over there going, I'd like to talk about it. And she's telling him, shut up.
I agree. Dolores is very much like me and doesn't like to involve her children or talk about them.
Her kids have been, featured on the show. And of course, everybody's hot for Frankie. Her daughter, of course, is like a brilliant vet. And so we've seen her kids grow up on the show. So when whatever happened there, why won't
not much on the show anymore?
Her kids?
You notice that they've really taken a step back.
Well, did you feel that because it was brought up and then it wasn't discussed further, and you can see Louis over there kind of scowling, doing his scowling. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, I know that Frank Sr. is not afraid of Louis, but it seemed like Dolores was sort of like not afraid, but like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't think Dolores is afraid as much as she does not want to involve her children and have, anything brought up like myself. I'll just, you know,
Yeah. Okay. And
you,
so,
you understand what I'm saying. I think that's, you know, just, she doesn't need any public attention towards her children the way, unfortunately, I just mentioned it saying this is the type of person he is.
mhm,
He did this. I think she just doesn't want any public attention towards anything. And that's my opinion. I said, we all saw what she said at the alternate reunion
mhm,
to Teresa,
mhm.
you know.
Well, I was grateful that I felt that you and Joe as well stood up to Louis and
Mhm.
just said, "This is what happened. This is that we're not going to deny that it happened," and he
Yeah, I'm not
did.
going to deny the truth. I don't
Yeah.
need to hash it out. I don't need to make a big thing. I don't need, I don't need to drag this out. I know who you are. You showed who you are. You showed the world who you are.
Yes.
Everybody knows. And that's it. You know, just, I want nothing to do with you.
I think the Fudas also did a great job of standing up to him and saying, "You can say what you want, but like we know what kind of guy you are." And he's trying to like say Fuda as this huge drug dealer, and then there was all these like fake stories on Reddit, and I mean
Yes,
it's gross.
it's disgraceful. And there was proof that they had, you know, dug up things, and all the social media that has come out of them working with, you know, this account, Melissa's old nose, this Gabriella, you know, accounts that were called Tree Hugger, Tree Fab, all these accounts that were pro the, you know, that we
Yeah.
called threesomes, whatever, that were pro them, have now come out confessing to what they had done, that they
Yep.
were in cahoots with them, that they were DM, that they were told to attack us, that they were fed stories to release, and all of these things, and they all had to come to Jesus moment, which we were all very grateful for, that they were honest and that they did these things.
It was dark. It
It
was
was
dark.
very dark, and I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in that. And everyone's like, Marge, you did this, you do this. No, I don't. There's never been proof of one thing. I don't do that. I run a business. I don't have time for that. I'm not interested. I don't have to ruin someone's life. The
Right.
truth comes out, and bad
Yep.
people ruin their own life. And it's happened.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that, you know, it that the trash takes itself out, as you say. So, but you know, I did, but that at the alternate reunion, I would like the finale watch show. I
Yes.
did appreciate that when they showed that clip of the horrible, gross thing Louis said. I appreciated that Dolores immediately looked at Teresa and said, "That's bad."
Oh,
And
of course. I was so, yes. I was
that's
very,
bad. That's
yeah,
a bad thing. And
yes,
Teresa just said, "Well, I don't care." That's the first thing she said was, "I don't care."
of course.
And then Dolores said, "No, you should care. That's bad. That's really bad." And then she said, "Well, okay, I'll tell him to apologize."
Yeah, I
Well,
know. It's, you know what? It was very, very bad. And Dolores,
disgusting.
you know, even said, I've defended him, you know, in times
Mhm.
when he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Admitted that.
Well, what do you think? What is the psychology behind Teresa that she continues to blame you? Like everything, if you say Margaret, it's like she's the devil, she's the worst person, she's this, she's that. I'm going to get Jackie on my side just to give me dirt about Margaret. How is it that everything in her life
Because she was,
comes to down to you when it was actually Jackie?
because I'm the one person, one of the strongest people who will not fall for her bullshit. Um,
Hmm.
I see through her husband, which I'm sure she does too, but
Yeah.
never admit it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so.
she's a type of person who will, um, you know, she would go to jail for someone like him. She will, unfortunately, go against anybody who she's ever loved for a man, for
Hmm.
someone like him. And it's unfortunate. Something is wrong with her, and she knows that I know the truth. And
It's
he cannot tolerate. So anybody who will question, you know, what's going on, listen, no longer speaking to Dina, no longer speaking to her brother. Clearly, you know, issues with me. She has issues with a lot of people who she was very close to. In
and
her,
Kathy and Rosie too.
Kathy and Rosie, a long time ago, that was before Louis got in the picture. Um, Anybody who questions her behavior and her judgment, which is clearly has exhibited to be poor, she has issues with. As she thinks people are not having her best interest. I've always had her best interest from the day I met her. I have given her solid sound advice. I've told her when it's important to move on. I've tried to facilitate makeups with her and Melissa numerous times. Even as when we were in Ireland, I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. I forgave her when she had my hair pulled. I moved on with her after she dumped an entire table of food at me.
Right.
Okay. I went to her wedding after she dumped an entire table of food at me.
Right.
It's insane. So I've forgiven her numerous times for twisted behavior and made excuses for her, but I can no longer do that. She's complicit, and it will be to her own downfall.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting that I haven't come across anybody who's like, oh my gosh, you're completely wrong. They're like a love story and you should be supportive of her finding love. I haven't come across anybody in the podcasting world or just like my friends that I hang out with at the pool that watch the show. Like nobody thinks it's a good situation.
It's endless people in her personal life
Mhm.
have reached out to me.
Oh yeah.
You're right. And I would never betray those people. It's sad, and this will be a documentary one day, a sad documentary.
Did you I know you don't have like lots of spare time to listen to podcasts, but the Bravo Docket put out a podcast and they broke down all the court documents between Louis and his ex.
I know they did. They did one, the original one, but did they do the second one? I don't know if they did the second one.
It was a two-part thing. So I do believe they did all of it. And these are two highly respected lawyers. They just couldn't believe it. Believe it. They could not believe it. Because it was so twisted on both sides. So it was like, wow, he really met his match in that chick. And
I will say something. The second, I think he had better attorneys in the first one. Listen, I think they were both obsessed with each other.
Yes.
I think they were engaged. From what I can gather, I think he swept her off her feet. I think he love bombed her. I think she was probably shocked that she was so taken. I think it made her absolutely insane that this happened to her. Way before he met, Teresa, she was running that marathon in the wedding dress.
Right.
And she was like, this is going to be my mission against narcissistic abuse. Because if someone like me could fall for a narcissist, a therapist, imagine all the women this is happening to. That's my take on it. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was very, this whole thing. And then he's obsessed enough to hire a private investigator on her and us, whatever, denying us, which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And the whole cast, he said. Don't forget.
Exactly.
The whole cast. Yeah.
He plants a fake client in her practice. Why are you so obsessed with this woman that you plant a fake client in her practice?
It's weird. It seems like a waste of money.
That was in the second part, right? That was in those court documents.
Yeah.
Why?
It's weird. It makes no sense. It's like
and I'm not saying that they weren't equally as obsessed with each other, but he continued. Why do you care? If none of what she was saying was true, why do you care? Why are you so desperate to bury everything?
Yeah. And you mentioned the Melissa's old nose, which is just like crazy that we like repeat Melissa's old nose over and over. But those accounts and things that were being leaked information from Janaden and Teresa, did you ever have any of these type of bloggers or podcasters or people that are big on Twitter or whatever reach out to you to be like, hey, like you could feed me story? I mean, like, how does this even happen?
No one ever said you could, no one ever said you could feed me stories. I would say that the fans, who love us or whatever it is. I mean, listen, they might say snide comments about other cast members, but they're not disgusting and vicious the way those accounts were. And they admit to being disgusting and vicious. I mean,
yeah.
But they were given screeners. They were, they've admitted to that. It's been all over the internet. It's pretty sick.
Listen, I can't even get a screener. So
club.
I mean, like, I know it is a huge Bravo violation if you share a screener. I know people that have gotten, we know people that have gotten their screeners removed because they shared a screener and never gotten them back.
I
So
mean,
I would be
I know.
terrified to share a screener.
You don't want to, yeah, you just don't do that. It's don't manipulate a season. Don't manipulate a season. And they, they manipulated a season.
It's just, again, it's so dark. And I still can't understand why it always comes back to Margaret is the devil. I'm always like,
I mean,
show me why. Show me
no,
why.
they can't. They can't show because Margaret, is going to say the truth about what she sees.
Yeah.
Margaret digs, she did this. No, I don't have to dig. It's right there in black and white in front of your face. I could sense the tone. I could smell bullshit. I could see through you. I could, see that you're, not who you say you are. It's very obvious. You talk in circles, and that's it.
Well, my personal opinion on the whole Jersey situation as a anthropologist of all the housewives, watched it from the second it started. I really think that if the world thinks Teresa is so great, okay, give her a spinoff, see what happens, and leave the cast the way it is. Maybe bring in a new person. I don't know. But that's what I would like to see because I like the people on the cast. I love you. I love Dolores. I love Melissa. I've been watching you. I don't want to not watch you. I want to see you, but I'd love to see it without that one person that's stirring all the shit and making all the toxicity, right? So if we take that element out, what would happen? That's what I'd like to see.
Listen, you know what? It's up to the Bravo gods. Whatever they feel is the best for the show is fine with me. I've had a beautiful run. I'm very blessed. We'll just see what happens. It's sad that it went down this way. It is. It's very, very sad. But you want the truth? I don't even blame Teresa. I really don't. I blame that her spouse. I just do. I'm sorry. I do. Everything was, we had some craziness before he got there, but
yeah. Well, it's the definite callings of a cult leader, right? It's definitely like get you away from everybody else.
It's true.
Yeah.
She is yes.
Under his spell.
When you have issues with everybody else, it's you.
Let's make a quick turn because our time here is coming to an end, and I want to make sure I talk to you about your mocktail soiree because, like I said, my husband's sober.
Yes, I got to send you. We'll put a box together today.
Whenever we go anywhere where there's mocktails on the menu, he gets so happy because he's like, look at me, I get to have like a fun drink. So he loves to try new types of sparkling waters and things that come out because he pours it in a glass and he's like, okay, now I'm having a fun drink that's not just water or tea.
Yes.
So what encouraged you to start this? Is it because of your own, like you don't drink and you'd like to have a fun drink at a party?
I needed a fun drink also. I needed to feel part of the party because this is what it was. I'd be going out there when they're having like, a Cosmo and this is mixed and that's great. And a margarita and a and I'm having like an unsweetened iced tea or cranberry juice and club soda and making my own mixture. And nothing was like fragrant and fun. And I said, I'm on a show where people drink. And I was like, this isn't fun for me. And I wanted something that I can consume that makes it feel like a special occasion. And I said to Lexi, we have a great platform. I want something that everyone's part of the party, that people are just like having a good time, that you could drink and not feel, bad about it. And people aren't questioning you. And I think, the weird thing is people judge you when you don't drink. And I don't like that. What is that about? Why are they think something's wrong with you? No, nothing's wrong with us. Okay. Yeah. We want to feel good. I don't want to wake up with a headache. My skin looks better. I'm not going. And so I said, we'll create Soiree together. And the truth is you can use it as a mixer if you don't drink. It doesn't taste like a faux alcohol. It just tastes like an experience. And that's why I came out with Soiree. So we started it. It was like 18 months in development. It took a long time. It tastes amazing. It's only 45 calories. We have a cucumber, lychee, mint, and elderflower. We have a margarita named after me. Passion fruit, rose, and guava. Another one, pineapple, coconut, lemongrass, and ginger. which is
Yum.
I'll be sending that to you. I mean, you'll get them all. And then we also have a watermelon, basil, mint, and chamomile. And you know what? They have fragrant notes and everything. And they taste great. They're all natural, naturally sweetened, only 9 grams of sugar. And I just said to Lex, I want something a pregnant woman could drink, a baby could drink it.
Yeah.
Everybody feels comfortable drinking it, and you really feel part of the party. And that's it.
Where can people buy Soiree?
Okay, you can get it at drinksoiree.com. If it's
Okay.
not in your state yet, in New Jersey, we sell it. Some ShopRite Liquors, Buy Rights, Gary's. In Texas, we're like the La Meridian Hotel, the Kimpton Hotel, and Chicago. We're at believe it or not, we're at the Guaranteed Rate White Sox Stadium. We're working on our distribution more. So we're like in a few states. We're just really getting out there. We're doing a ton of events. So it's going well, but it's getting a lot bigger pretty quickly. So
that's a good idea to have it in stadiums, because sometimes people are at the stadiums and they definitely don't want like a beer or a $25, wine. They'd love to have just something like fruity and light because it's hot.
Guess what? Anything with THC or CBD cannot go into a stadium.
That's a great point too. Well, God, I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
We hit a good market. We're smart. We're smart broads.
You are, and you really know how to. I think probably since you went to FIT, I mean, you had to have learned all this like marketing and how to that stuff.
I also in my Macbeth thing, I've done that for a very long time, and I know business. I've been doing it forever. Listen, and I've had a lot of bumps in the road, and I've had loss, and I understand what it's like, and you could do nothing wrong and be sued, and that's this country, and so I understand it, but I also know when something's needed in the market, and the non-alc space is the largest growing space in the market, and people are choosing not to drink. You still want to have a good time, and you're not always in the mood for a diet soda. I agree. To feel like you're having an experience, and that's what it's about. And Soiree makes you is a party.
I love it.
Thank you.
What else do you want to tell people? Where can they find you? Where can they look for you? drinksoiree.com.
Yes, drinksoiree.com. On Instagram, The Real Margaret Josephs, so you always know what I'm doing. I am doing this amazing girls trip to Morocco with Lexi. There'll be a lot of travel things with Marge. We're doing a girls trip. It's actually very reasonable. You could pay it monthly. I think some people were afraid to go to Morocco, but it's very safe. We have a guide with us. We have everything.
Cool.
It's all 5-star. We're going in February. So we're taking up to 20 people. So if you want to travel with the Marge.
Should I go?
So, yes, you should go. I'm hosting a great trip. It's not expensive at all. Truthfully, it includes airline tickets, first class accommodations. We're doing.
How do we find out about that? Because now I want to go.
Yeah. By the way, right now it's on my Instagram. So Real Margaret Josephs. I'm going to talk more about it. There's a link to click. Just go on my link tree. Yeah. And there's a little thing on my Morocco trip. We're going in February. So
my mom has been all over the world, and she said her 2 favorite places were Turkey and Morocco.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I love to travel, and I love to do girls trips. And I think I said it's going to be like White Lotus minus the murder, Sex in the City, girl bonding. And I think, you know what, it's a great price because we're going with this great group, Craft Tours. And I love to host a trip. I love to be with people. I don't know people.
Yeah.
I love to entertain a lot. I love to have people around me. My house is always a party. And I'm one of those rare people who could be with people all the time. I mean, maybe Sundays, sometimes I like some downtime, but everyone's like, your house is a hoopla all the time. I travel with a lot of people. So I think it'll be a really great trip. So Mary Payne, if you want to come, Morocco, we're in.
Okay. I'm literally going to go look at that when I'm done.
Go take a look and bring your girlfriends. We're going to do up to 20 people. And then that's it. But it's going to be great. We're going to the YSL Museum. We're going to Sook's. We're taking like a cooking class. We're staying at the, there's a brand new Park Hyatt that's like 5-star hotel. We're at first class accommodations. It's going to be great.
I'm going to tell Ingrid right when we're done.
Tell Ingrid.
Everybody follow Margaret, follow me at Pink Shade Pod, and Margaret, don't hang up. And thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I was so happy to do it. Thanks, Mary Payne.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.